Welcome back to Freelance School. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my process when it comes to website, web messaging updates. It's kind of a not as thought about or well known marketing service, but it's critical to the other services you might sell as a marketing freelancer, marketing contractor, or somebody who does digital marketing service work as an agency, freelancer, whatnot. And you may sell somebody advertising, like let's say Google Ads or YouTube advertising to a business, or you may sell them YouTube Shorts content or content in general, like blog article content. But ultimately, the marketing service a lot of times is limited by the website itself, and that ends up being like the hub that needs to be optimized. And we there's a lot of different processes that you could do this, and you could follow a standard one. And I'd like to show you two things. One, I'm going to give you a template for that you can go through as like a general one and get you started for how you would do this for your own website, or even you can use this for how to start planning the website as well. We won't go into actually wireframing the messaging into like a Google slide or the Google's like a little uh, web application they have for setting up wireframes, but we will get very specific, and this will accomplish a lot of the work we need to do, and then we'll just be left with a little bit of design type stuff when we actually go to update the website. So I'm going to go and show you what with the real website. This is Maddie. She has a yoga studio that she does weekly class on the beach, as well as she does private training sessions, and we are putting a making a big push to produce more content, posting her weekly classes event, and generating more private sessions clients. And one big part of that is that a lot of people are going to be coming to our website, and we want the messaging to be clear and resonate with them, and them to understand what she's offering and where they can find that, how much it costs, all that, as opposed to just being kind of descriptive. And I think she did a good job in a basic way with the website, but I'm going to show you what I just freestyling look at. And then the second thing I'll show you is like we'll kind of just walk through the template here that you can use. And if you have any questions about how you should do web messaging, or you have a specific question about your website, feel free to leave that in the comment section below, and potentially we could review that and go through that as well. But let's go ahead and jump right in. So when I'm looking at this website, a couple things. The color contrast of like the button against the image isn't ideal. The font for the text font is it looks like we have maybe three different types of type there. We have a double comma there. Um, when you're in full screen, I haven't checked this mobile yet, and you should check mobile and desktop, but the image isn't going fully across the screens. We're going to optimize that. Then I guess the main point or lesson here would be to frame whatever you're thinking about on when you're determining what needs to be updated in the website. It's not just what you think and feel would help. It's you're framing it from the perspective of how would I make this less friction and less difficult for the person who's interested in the class or interested in private training to understand uh, what is being offered, what's the benefit, who is this for, those types of questions. So that's what we're framing this in terms of, and we want the flow and the structure to prioritize towards that. So with that being said, the second panel when I see this here, it's Maddie. It's great. I think it's very useful and important to have a good about section for the instructor, especially because she's like the life of the business. But I would say the second panel here, this is a good example of where you'd want to explain, have messaging framed towards the target audience. So it's people who would go to the weekly class or potentially use the private session. And we're going as we update this panel, it's going to be framed more towards what benefits the person who goes to the classes and gets the private training would have, as opposed to descriptive about her. And then testimonials, the text is okay, but we're going to get actual image text and videos, clips. Video clip testimonials, way better and way more compelling. So that'll be another update I see there. And then last, we'll get our a lot of times you don't need to include your email, maybe just an info, like a business info email. You don't want to generally include your personal email because you can get spam, as well as the phone number, updating that. And I think she has a US phone number now, but do that. And then the other part, this gets more away from web messaging, but you definitely want to also make sure your privacy policy, terms and conditions are updated, that the way data consent information that you accumulate through the website from clients is all compliant. So you won't have up-to-date text based on the 24 standards, but that'll be for another video. And then what I also see as I went through my notes was looking at these tabs up here. Are they useful? Are they valuable? What would they want? What would be the most helpful? And I made notes for it, but basically what I'll also do is pull. You want to use ideally the most relevant website for a very related website to the business website that you're doing. But this is just an example that I kind of go to is acquisition.com, and they have pop-ups. It's kind of a little difficult, but you know, or I know that, or I have a high, strong belief that acquisition.com, Alex Mosey running it, they do a lot of A/B testing, they split, they optimize things, and though this, still part of the kind of like the personal brand as well, I believe that what they choose to conclude here a lot of times is a good choice, and they've tested why they do it, and there's intention behind it, and it makes sense and it works. So I try to look at good examples of when I'm trying to think of what I would want to put into her top navigation bar here. So we want things to be useful. I guarantee all these items here, I follow Alex Mosey. I understand these, and I understand, and I feel and resonate with the value that I get from subscribing to his email newsletter, which is amazing, by the way. I've gone through a couple of these courses here as well, kind of briefly, and then I understand his workshop. So it's basically like this is all very useful. These are specific paths that I can focus on to learn from Alex Mosey. Same way, we want specific things that are very useful. So in the case of this, I might as well just pull it up. I kind of made an example navigation bar. I recommend when you're trying to get started, just dumping your ideas onto like a Microsoft OneNote, and then you can use ChatGPT to help you refine it. Then when you actually make the wireframes, you can refine it. But just getting started, not trying to make it perfect, is pretty important. So what do you here? This is the current. This is when I was imagining her top navigation bar. I like to think of it first. I run an idea like, hey, what would I do? And then I go look at acquisition.com, and what you'll see is two different versions. I think the first one that I have here is great, but it's actually got like this private yoga training will probably be updated to private training sessions, and there's two different kinds. She has sound healing and yoga training specifically. But all these things are useful to the actual customer, and they all make sense to the person. Like, okay, we class got specific video tutorials, you've got upcoming events and retreats, you got a product store where I can find the recommended yoga mat. So it's all right there. And then if you took the concept between actions.com, it brought out ideas that I didn't think of in my initial draft, and when looking at Alex Mosey's tabs. Manifesting Motion newsletter. This could be like we recommend a pose. We send out like a little video clip in email, but I think that could be useful. And she already has a tab for asanas, different little poses. We can frame that into that. We could put her social icons into these media links and just like a media tab, and have her YouTube or Instagram and any other profiles we end up creating. And then just it's pretty similar, except I would probably just add one. And then I go through and I start looking at things that appear to me as I'm looking at it, like the color and text fonts, and then I see other things like, okay, as I'm scrolling through here, it looks decent, but there could be like more consistent colors. So like, okay, so we should develop a brand kit on the colors as well as the font. And then last kind of quick thing I see is that we could make we need to get like a image asset library and video asset library so we can have pretty cohesive image and video assets post to the website, and everything can look very crisp and it resonates really well with the customer. They feel like the intention is super clear and smooth, and it comes off as they believe that what they're buying, what they're interested in, it's going to get delivered on by this business when all those things are in tune, and it basically just helps the flow of that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a quick run through of how I think about web messaging. This could be a boring topic for people who aren't doing that, but I think there could be more content on this topic. Let me know what you guys do for your web messaging if you're an expert on that, or if you've already have kind of like a current concept. But I'll share this link to